Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, was first published in 1984. It's been described as a business classic and required reading for every marketer. But 5 editions, 3 million copies, and 3 decades later, is it still relevant, or is it just some pop science bilge? Well, marketer or not, I think it's worth a read, and here's why. When I saw this book first, I saw psychology in the cover, and I first thought, okay, it's going to be an easy read, I'll just tease out some content and I'll criticize the writing. But my heart sank when I opened it and I saw this minuscule writing. It's absolutely tiny. My second thought was, this is going to be an ordeal. Thankfully, Cialdini more than makes up for this typeface for ants with well laid out and entertaining writing. It's written a lot better than The Lean Startup and The 4-Hour Workweek, and I found myself getting more and more into it as I read it. At times though, the writing did seem a little dated. One point reiterated throughout the book is how we all work like biological tape recorders. Once the right button is pressed, click, the tape is activated, and whir, the pre-programmed response begins to play. I think though 30 years later we can forgive the reference to what was then a widely used technology. And maybe even the reference to daily newspapers, the importance given to landline telephones, and the odd reference to a 10-cent bottle of Coca-Cola. The major thing, however, that really dates this writing and invites a good amount of imagination for readers today who are looking to get actionable advice from this book is the lack of any mention of modern technology. There's no email, there's no social networks, there's no apps, there's no mailing lists. And these would have provided plenty of excellent examples for creative persuasion tactics had they only existed when the book was written. I think this is important though. Firstly, it demonstrates that the principles in the book are real-world phenomena. They're not just cheap tricks used by internet marketers to get us to click banner ads, download an app, or share a viral video. These principles actually affect how we lead our real, human, outside lives. And secondly, for those of us who end up doing most of our business online anyway, we get to see these principles unstained by context or examples. We get to be creative. As I was reading the book, I dog-eared a bunch of pages where I saw examples of things that are being used by companies today, and also things that I can use in my own business to get an edge in marketing. So the content is good. In fact, Manchester Business School were so proud to be teaching Cialdini's 6 principles, they even paid the Telegraph to write about it. Now, this review would not be very useful unless I at least mentioned the famous 6 principles. So let's go through them. Reciprocity. This chapter has a little subheading that really gets the idea across quite simply. It goes, the old give and take, and take. The basic idea is that initial offering to a person will make them more likely to respond in kind. Often, this response will be far more valuable than the initial offer. Commitment and consistency. Cialdini calls these the hobgoblins of the mind, and it's really just an analysis of what you might know as the lowball sales technique. Once a person makes a commitment to buy something at a competitive price, for example, it's very easy to add in supporting arguments as to why this is a good purchase. And once these internal arguments are made, the price is then increased far beyond anything we would have initially considered. 3 is social proof. This one is even more applicable now than it was in 1984. People trust people, and they do what other people around them do, sometimes without even considering why they're doing it. It's the reason people my age traded Pokemon cards in school. It's the reason the bystander effect is so strong, and it's also the reason anybody can sit through more than 3 seconds of canned laughter in The Big Bang Theory without vomiting. 4 is liking. We are far more likely to do what we're told, if we're told to do it by somebody that we like. This chapter actually goes on to describe how to get people to like you. Starting with number 1, be attractive. Number 5 is authority. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It's also quite similar to social proof. Cialdini uses the now famous Milgram obedience experiment to demonstrate it. Basically, if a participant in a psychological study is asked by a man in a white coat to electrocute another participant in the study, they'll do it, past the point of agony, past the point of screaming, even past the point of death. More often than not, these participants do it without questioning anything. The other participant is, of course, an actor. Of course. Number 6 is scarcity. Remember when Google Plus was a thing and you needed an invite to get on it? That was Google's attempt at using the scarcity principle. It also explains why Rick needs that sweet Szechuan Mulan dipping sauce, Morty. So I would highly recommend this book to anybody, even in 2017. Not just to marketers, even to anybody in business, sales, or even UI or product design. Beyond that, anybody who's interested in not getting swindled day to day might pick up a few things. It's a good read too. Big thanks to Reddit user Hustle Smart who suggested the book today. Influence was a great read, but it was pretty lengthy. My next review will be of this, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, and by the looks of it, it seems like it might be a quicker read. So if you enjoyed this review and you like me, a man in a white lab coat said that you can reciprocate that feeling by subscribing to the channel. Of course, there's no commitment, but all your friends are doing it, and you won't be able to subscribe forever. So act fast, subscribe today. Thanks for watching.